Okay, so now it's time to freestyle some sine and cosine graphs. I'm starting off with the cosine function right here, and later on in this video, it's not going to take too long, we'll get to a sine function, okay? And I don't know which one you're going to be looking at in your graph. These things get scrambled all around, different amplitudes and everything. So let's just go through this example and you'll see how it goes. Remember the amplitude, circle on the wrong thing. The amplitude is right out front here. It's whatever's multiplied by the cosine. So in this case, remember, it's not -2, it's just going to be 2, the absolute value of that multiplier. The equation of the midline should be easy to see by now. That's this thing right here, y equals 1. The period is where we start having to actually calculate stuff, because period, if you remember, is 2 pi over b, which in our case is 3/2. So 2 pi divided by 3/2 is equal to 2 pi times 2/3, which is 4 pi over 3. Okay, so that's our period of this function, 4 pi over 3. It's a weird one. And now the phase shift, that part's nice. We can just look at the factored form and figure it out right here. Now, if you get a function that's not in factored form, your first job is to turn it into this general equation format that I have here with the horizontal scaling factored out, the b term. Okay, but oftentimes they're already factored out for you. Now it's time to draw it. So remember your graphing window. That's a really useful tool. I see that my phase shift is -pi/6. That means I'm going to be looking at this line right here for the starting point of my graph. And then I'm going a distance of 4 pi over 3, right? We have to add to that 4 pi over 3. That's the period. That's the length of the cosine curve that I'm going to draw. So, fraction time, what is -pi/6 plus 4 pi over 3? Not common denominators, so let's fix that. I'm going to call this 8 pi over 6, not 4 pi over 3. Now it's easy to do. 7 pi over 6. That's the landing point here. So where's my sub? Oh, here we go. Okay, that's the right side window of your cosine graph. Now the midline is y equals 1. So that's going to be this right here. And then we go up and down from that by 2. Okay, so 2 up and 2 down right here. So there's our graphing window. I'm going to put this in blue to keep it a little more clear. Where do we start? Well, cosines always start at the top, unless it's a negative cosine, like this guy. It's a -2 cosine. So we're going to actually start this one at the bottom. And when you're graphing, I want you to make sure you do this. There's a cosine button down here. It's the one that shows dots at the top and bottom of the wave. The other one is a sine function. Okay, this guy is right here. That's sine. And you can see that there's a dot in the middle of the wave. It's a lot easier if you graph these functions using the appropriate button. So we're going to click on cosine. And I'm going to start by putting a value, let's see, -2 cosine. So we're starting at the bottom. It's going to be right over here. Okay, and then you need to pick one more point, and the graph will just magically appear for you. As long as you put it in the right place, you'll be doing well. So I know that my cosine curve looks like this. How do we explain it? That's one full cycle, right? So the next point that it wants you to plot, we did one right here. The next one it wants you to do is the top of the curve. So that's going to go in the middle of your graphing window. More like, where are we here? What is the middle of -pi/6 and 7 pi over 6? Well, we can figure that out by taking the average. -pi/6 plus 7 pi over 6. Those are the two ends. We're adding them together and dividing by 2. Work through the math, and you're going to get 3 pi over 6. Or in other words, pi over 2. Do we see any pi over? Here's one right there. Okay, so that's going to be the second point. And then this thing will go ahead and fill in for you all the rest of the stuff that's happening here, and you'll get a graph that looks like this. Now, let's say you put that middle point in the wrong place. You don't have to calculate it and get it right on the first click. If you want, you can just put 2 points anywhere and then sort of scooch them around with your mouse cursor until it fits the graph, the shape that you're looking for. Okay? So let's move on to the sine function right here. We calculate everything the same way, except for this one, you're going to click on, remember what I talked about before? This one uses the sine button. So we're going to go through the process the same exact way. Let's see how quick we can do this. Amplitude on this one is 4. equation of the midline is 1, period. Remember what period is. That's 2 pi over b, which in our case is going to be 2 pi divided by 1/2, which is just 4 pi. Okay, and the phase shift is nice and easy. It's just laid out for us right there, pi over 2. So we graph it now using the phase shift as the starting point, and it's going to go a distance of 4 pi, which lands us at 9 pi over 2. The midline is at y equals 1, and it goes up by 4 and down by 4. And wow, that really worked out very neatly. Okay, now the sine function would normally, well, it always starts at the middle, right here. Normally it would go up, but in this case it's a negative sine function. So this guy's going down. And what you have to plot is the starting middle point, and then you have to plot the next point right here. Okay, and that's just a guess. I don't know if that's going to turn out to be right or not. Okay, that's kind of right. Now, if you guess this point at the wrong place, just move it back and forth with your mouse until your full sine wave fits inside that graphing window that you're kind of imagining on top of your graph.